Good morning, everybody. We shall today have a look at the introduction to transport documents, the how transport documents are handled under documentary credits. We will have a look at the basic introduction. The treatment of transport documents under documentary credits can be studied under different heads or looked at from different angles. The angle in which the UCP looks at the transport document, or how an ISBP has been elaborated. We can look at what are the documents, or we can look at what are the characteristics of these documents, and we also have to look at what are the non-documents. We shall first start with what are the non-documents. Copies of documents are considered as not transport documents. So whatever rules or whatever guidance is applicable to transport document will not apply to copies. What are the non-transport documents? Delivery note, delivery order, cargo receipt, forwarder's certificate of receipt, forwarder's certificate of shipment, forwarder's certificate of transport, forwarder's cargo receipt, mate's receipt. All these are considered as not transport documents. Let us have a look at what are the characteristics of transport documents. Transport documents have multiple characteristics. One is in the form of title. Are they title documents? Do they carry title? Do they give title to the goods, underlying goods? Are they negotiable? When will a transport document be negotiable? If it can be issued to order, and if the party in whose favor it has been issued to order of party A, if party A can further pass it on, it is negotiable. This negotiability or transferability comes along with the previous defects. So if there is a defect in the document, that will be carried forward when it is being handed over further. How we negotiate the transfer of title? The transfer of title can be possible by endorsement and delivery. The party to whose order it has been issued, that party will sign behind saying this is endorsed in favor of such and such a party. These another characteristic is whether or how the goods will be delivered at destination, whether the original is required for delivering the documents, or whether the goods will be delivered to the consignee, or whether it will be addressed to the addressee, or whether against any other identification document or delivery order. Why this is important is that the consignor has a right to change the consignee. In some of the documents, the carrier is the one who controls the goods and the documents. So if the consignor has a right, or if the carrier can be instructed to change either the destination or the consignee prior to the delivery, then the parties who are holding or handling and underlying goods will be at risk, because the consignor has a right to change the contents of the instructions that he has provided, against which this transport document was issued. Whether the transport document gives control is another aspect that we have to look at. How the control will be available? Control might be available if the full set is available, and if it covers the entire voyage, and if it is having a proper onboard notation. A proper onboard notation will give whether goods have been given to the carrier for transport. If it covers the entire voyage, we can be sure that from the point of loading to the point of final destination, the single carrier is taking responsibility. So he will be having the control over goods, and he will be delivering such a control over the goods to us in the form of we holding these documents. And the full set requirement is that because all three originals or whatever originals have been issued are of equal weightage, there is a risk that a party holding one original will have the right to recall the goods or take delivery of the goods. So this is what is about the characteristics. Now let us have a look at what UCP has to say regarding these documents. What are the documents? The documents are multimodal BL, which is the most popular document as on date. Then we have an ocean BL or a port-to-port BL. We have a charter party BL. We have a air transport document. We have a non-negotiable seaway bill, which is very little used. And then we have an inland waterway, road or rail transport. And we have a courier or a postal document. These are the most popularly used transport documents, and these are the documents which are defined or explained or dealt with in the UCP, the Uniform Customs and Practices for Documentary Credits. The key criteria under which UCP looks at a transport document is based on what mode it is. Is it a multiple mode? Is it a mode by air, mode by sea, whatever it is? And then it can be however named. UCP does not give any significance to the name of the document. And then it says it should indicate the carrier and it should be signed. How the carrier should be indicated or how it should be signed has been discussed. Also under consideration is the way in which the pre-printed or the notation of the onboard is there when the goods have been received by the carrier for shipment, how it is indicated. And so this is where we have the received for and the shipped BLs and types like that. We have the importance of shipment date, what is considered as a shipment date is being discussed, and thereafter the places of dispatch and destination, whatever stated in the credit has to appear in the documents, only then the document will be considered as complete or compliant. UCP also looks at the fact that the transport document should mention the terms of carriage. It should not have indication to Chatapati or should have an indication of Chatapati. A full set should be submitted, and how the transport document will treat the transshipment aspect. These are some of the aspects that UCP looks at. These are the so-called key criteria when we study the articles of UCP applying to a particular transport document. Coming to ISBP, the way ISBP handles or treats the transport document, the way we study is that first we try to look at when a particular article of UCP is applicable to that particular document. That is what UCP tries to help us understand. It elaborates or explains or interprets to help us understand when a particular article is applicable, and then UCP helps the ISBP helps us to understand how the issuance of the transport document should be there, who should be the carrier, or how they should be identified, and how it should be signed. ISBP then talks about how the onboard notation or the shipment date or the pre-carriage aspects of the transport document will be dealt with. ISBP tells us why or how we decide a particular transport document is original. Then it turns our attention to the consignee, notified party, endorsements, and allied aspects. What is a transshipment, what is partial shipment, and how the dates are impacting our calculation of either the last date for shipment or the period of presentation in case multiple transport documents are submitted. ISBP helps us understand how the description of the goods should be there, how the delivery agent should be mentioned, and in case a document has to be clean on board is called for, what is the intention or what is the impact of the word clean. It tells us how the corrections should be handled, how surrendering of more than one BL if it is required, how will be handled, and how freights and additional costs additional to freights will be handled. So these are some of the things which are discussed in the ISBP, and we shall see in detail how each transport document is dealt with in ISBP in the subsequent discussions. Thanks for watching this video. Please keep coming.